Yeah, man, dog days of summer are hitting hard. Now we're actually talking about records. How crazy is that? We never do these kinds of videos, but today we are talking about the Edmonton Oilers and one of the best players the NHL has seen ever. I think it's fair to go out there and start using that label when it comes to Connor McDavid nowadays, right? I mean, he's the GOAT of this generation, and I guess you could say he could compare to some of the other generational talents of the past, the Crosbys, the Lindrosses, the Guy Lafleurs, the... who else was there? Gretzky, Lemieux, of course. Connor McDavid's very good. But when it comes to how good he is, we are on the cusp, I think, of seeing one of the better records in the NHL history books get broken down a little bit. And it's all thanks to Connor McDavid. Now, just to go over some of the numbers, because every time we talk about McDavid, we can acknowledge how good he is, we can talk about the skill, we can talk about the magnitude of how much better he is than everybody else, but when it comes to the pure point production, this is where things get kinda nuts. Connor McDavid has put up, what is that already? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 100-point seasons? And the one non-100-point season that he had in this stint was a 97-point year in 64 games played. The fact that he had 105 points in the COVID year is kind of nuts, and the fact that he had 64 goals in 22-23 is also nuts. This previous season, he dipped by about 20 points from last year, but he had 100 assists on top of that, thanks to Zach Hyman going out there and constantly putting the puck in the back of the net. But McDavid has been an absolute monster, and he is just overall the best player in the world. Only the second forward of all time to win the Conn Smythe on a losing team. McDavid is at 982 points in his NHL career, in 645 games played. Kinda nuts when you consider it was just 9 years ago that he was drafted and taken first overall by the Oilers. I still remember that day like it was yesterday. Guys, calm down. I'm only 24 years old, please. Don't make me feel too old out here. But either way, Connor McDavid is 18 points away from getting to the 1,000 point mark in the NHL. And already we are starting to see articles pop up as to whether or not that record would be attainable. How long McDavid will take to destroy the next record? Caleb Kearney writes in the Hockey News, will Connor McDavid be able to hit 1,000 career points before Mike Bossy did? Now, to all the smart Alex in the comment section, yeah, I know Mike Bossy already hit 1,000 points. He did so decades ago. That's not the context we're talking about here. Take a look at this. The Edmonton Oilers captain possesses skills that no one else in the NHL does. He is an incredible athlete and one of the hardest working players in the entire league. Last year, he became the third player in NHL history to reach 100 assists in a single season. Nikita Kucherov eventually achieved the same milestone a few days later. That will always be so funny to me, dude. McDavid has this crazy year, he breaks this record. Gretzky, Lemieux, and Orr. The only other guys to get 100 points in a single, not points, excuse me, 100 assists in a single season, and everybody's like, oh yeah, no, McDavid is gonna do it, McDavid is gonna do it, and then Nikita Kucherov does it too. Monkey see, monkey do, eh? Nikita Kucherov is so good, and he won the Art Ross because of it, but either way, McDavid still has a few extra years on Kucherov. The next milestone on the horizon for Connor McDavid is a big one, 1,000 points. He has a chance to become one of the fastest players to ever reach that feat. Only 4 players have done it in less than 700 career games. That should say fewer than, I think. Wayne Gretzky scored 1,000 points in 424 games, Mario Lemieux had 1,000 points in 518, Bossy in 656, and Peter Stastny 682. You know, the stat is always kind of crazy that, oh, the fastest people to get to 1,000 points, it's Wayne Gretzky the first time, and then number 2 is actually Wayne Gretzky the second time, and then you have Mario Lemieux, because Gretzky was just an absolute freak of nature. McDavid has currently played 645 games. He has also tallied 982 points. Can he beat Bossy to become the 3rd fastest player to reach 1K? The answer is most definitely. Look at the numbers and you can easily see why. In 11 games, McDavid needs to accumulate 18 points. That's only 1.64 points per game. McDavid has always produced at a high level, factor in the disappointment of losing in the Stanley Cup final, and you have a recipe for an eager McDavid that the rest of the league should be quivering over. Connor McDavid needs 18 points in 11 games to beat Mike Bossy, or at least to tie Bossy. If he gets 18 points in 10 games, then he would actually beat the record by getting up to 655 games, so one fewer than Mike Bossy. But if you go over to McDavid's career starts and you take a look at the first 10-11 games of the year, let's use this previously completed season as an example. Even though the Oilers sucked and they didn't win and Jay Woodcroft was there, Connor McDavid in his first 10 games of the year still put up, what is that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 points. Which unfortunately is not the point production that he would need to go out there and break the Bossy record this time around. He would need a few multi-point games in there. I mean, there was a stint, crazy stint, where the Oilers were winning games like crazy and McDavid was consistently with 2, 2, 2, 3, 5, 4, 2 points a game. That was an incredible stint. That's the kind of production he would need to beat the Bossy record to start out 24-25. If you go over to 2022-2023, so the season where McDavid absolutely popped off and scored one of the most productive seasons we have seen in NHL history, the first 10 games of McDavid's 22-23 saw him put up, what is that? Oh boy, that's a lot, eh? 4, 7, 11, 12, 16, 18, 22 points in his first 10 games in 2022-2023. That is what McDavid needs to do to beat Bossy, and I think it is very well possible because we know Connor McDavid is Connor McDavid, and now that the Oilers have this formula, okay, we made the finals and we know how we got there. Evan Bouchard's got a clap bombs, Leon Draisaitl's got a bang moms, and then you've got Zach Hyman in front with the tip-ins and the rebounds. That is a recipe for success, and if Connor McDavid decides, hey, I want to go out there and start scoring too, I want to win the Rocket Richard this year, then he could just go out there and post 60 like it's nobody's business. So there is a very real possibility that we are on the cusp of NHL greatness here at the hands of Connor McDavid chasing down the Mike Bossy record. And I do think that by this time, let's say 10, 20 years from now, by the time Connor McDavid's career is said and done, I think a lot of people will start to fully acknowledge and put into place McDavid's spot in NHL history books. Because, yeah, this guy is really good. Really, really good. In a way, I kind of feel similar feelings towards Sidney Crosby. Like, hey, I lived out my entire childhood watching Crosby doing his thing, and I don't know if I really recognize just how amazing he was until now, where it's like, yeah, he's one of the most consistent top players in NHL history, despite all the injuries and all the setbacks. Connor McDavid is like point production Crosby without the injuries. So I think there's so much to look forward to here when it comes to McDavid and the points records. Will he be able to beat Bossy? Will he be able to beat Peter Stastny? I think it's kind of a given that he finds himself in the top 5 by the time this 1,000 points thing is said and done. Okay, maybe disregarding the Gretzky ×2, but he will be there, right? Question is, how far up will he be there? Will he be 3rd overall, behind Gretzky and Lemieux, or will he be 4th, behind Gretzky, Lemieux, and Bossy? You know, to end off this video, I mean, we got a few more minutes left in the footage here. I also wanted to talk about Bossy because he has been one of the guys that I think is underrated in these kinds of GOAT conversations too. Like, you talk about best pure goal scorer the NHL has ever seen, Ovechkin. I feel like Bossy should be in there, and I think most people who are a little older will acknowledge that he should be in there. It's just same thing with Crosby, man. It's injuries. And unfortunately, where injuries did not take out Sidney Crosby and completely eliminate his career, they kind of did for Mike Bossy, and he was one of the best, if not the best, goal scorer of his era. He was a little bit before Gretzky, like Gretzky made his debut, but Bossy was kind of already there. But as Bossy was in his heyday, I mean, Gretzky and the Oilers were still doing their thing, but I mean, look at these totals. 68 goals, 79 games, 64 goals, 80 games, 60 goals, 79 games. So decorated. So decorated, and McDavid being able to be placed in that conversation is a testament to his overall production as well. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How far is this going to go for Mac, and is he going to be able to beat Bossy? Thoughts in the comment section. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.